Let's go!
Akuma Kid, do you have a moment during streaming that made you say this was going to be your future? I think so. I think there was a moment, and who was here for this? The Shadow Jago boss rage. Just having the general idea for boss rage was like a live experience thing of me just taking on like the hardest fighting game bosses. Who the hell would do that? Why the hell would you turn the difficulty of a fighting game boss to 1 billion and then fight it? Why would you do that, man? That doesn't seem like fun at all. But there was so much crazy stuff that happened with the computer pulling everything out of its ass to win and doing the biggest crazy cheese, all that kind of shit. Shadow Jago was the first one because there was like a story that was being built, and then that happened that directly correlated moving forward into games like Mortal Kombat 9, you know, all of that kind of stuff, like several, the BioFreaks one. These stories were happening live on stream. There was a narrative that I just turned into video. That only happened because we were there like with people experiencing it with us. So to me, that was a big deal. That was a moment when I realized this streaming shit is peak, dude. This shit is amazing. Another big streaming moment for me was playing old Resident Evils, like Resident Evil Remake and Resident Evil 0 for like the first time, and having so many people actually give a shit. I didn't know if I could play or stream anything else but fighting games, and then a lot of people showed up. It was like early 2014, and I had like 2,000 viewers watching me play some old dank Resident Evil game, you know, and Kenny was showing up and scaring me and stuff like that. Like it was a long time ago, dude. But the fact that people were there, the fact that like so many people showed up was like, whoa, maybe I can actually not only just do the one thing and I can play other stuff. It was pretty wonderful, man. There's so many other stream moments I can talk about, but like those are the early ones. So this is from Unasi. Have you gotten the chance to mess with the FX3 outside of it being your main stream camera? Do you have any plans of filming any more short films like the old Assist Me's in the past? Yeah. So all I have to say is that this camera is amazing. The lens we have on it is amazing. The filmmaking capabilities that it has is god tier. It has like a 2 million ISO on it. Low light shots aren't even a problem, dude. And trust, I'm not out there trying to make new Assist Me's. If anything, the same thing that has been happening to Assist Me for the past 10 years is still happening, where if we get a really good idea, then I want to do something, man. If there has already been like several pitches over the years where it's like I'm pitching something to the guys about this idea, and whether or not it comes to fruition depends on a lot of things, because these are huge productions that can take like months at a time. But still, obviously, you know, there's some big Marvel stuff in the future that is happening, and you just gotta wait for me to have a good idea. Gotta wait for us to have a good script before we start filming shit. Tokon's a while. We don't know when Tokon's coming out, so I'm not gonna say that's not a likelihood, but it's another, the last thing we did was like another superhero thing. It was Ultimate Marvel 3 and like Injustice 2, you know? So all I gotta say is there is some connective tissue there. Cannot wait for Tokon time. Me too. Dark Zero, could you go over your Streamlabs OBS settings? You always have the highest quality in streaming IMO. I'm curious how you do it. So it's not entirely a settings and OBS thing. It's a meticulous testing. I can tell you what I stream at. I stream at a baseline in my video base canvas at 4K. You need some good hardware for this. It gives you a nicer base to work with. I scale it down to 1920 by 1080p using area rescaling. And then I stream at a bitrate about 8200 with a medium CPU preset. That's about it. On YouTube, that's a bit higher because they have 1440p, but the big thing is actually hardware. You'll notice that most people play games that are 60 FPS and they don't they like hold on frames all the time and stuff like that. There's a lot of weird compatibility issues that I've run into over the years with splitters and hardware and yada, 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 to get things looking as consistent as possible to squeeze out that final little 1% of how good a stream can look. That's kind of the thing that I worked on. Like, I had recommendations from other streamers that are just as obsessed with stream quality as I am. And yeah, eventually landed on an old Elgato 4K Mark II that is running on an ancient firmware that doesn't have modern bloat, because a lot of like capture cards are put in with a bunch of bloat and extra bullshit it does. And yeah, it runs, every single frame is unique, dude. Every single one. So it's great. I've learned a whole bunch to get the best stream quality possible. How do you have the endurance and energy to talk and play on stream for hours? Decent question. Mayo's log, thank you. So I have a funny anecdote. It's already hitting me right now because I usually spend about 2 to 3 hours of actual long yap. We're getting into the 3.5, 4 hours where I've been yapping for 4 hours now. So I can already feel my vocal cords getting a bit sore. This becomes a big problem during Evo where I'm on for 8 to 12 hours, 2 days in a row, and then like even more for the finals day where we're actually talking into microphones for the entire time. It's a lot, dude. You don't get used to it. You're exhausted. You're just completely exhausted. I'll have moments where I don't stream for like 3 days and I'll come back and my neck will be sore. I'll go to bed and I'm like, dude, everything that's connecting all of this tissue from here to here to here to down to here, not my lungs, but all of this stuff is moving around so much, so consistently for so long, it will hurt. And it will be like, damn, bro. I was definitely talking for a really long time, especially after like a 6, 7, 8 hour stream, you know what I mean? Even if you work in a call center, dude, you're not call after call after call after call. And even when you're in a call center, people don't have like an on voice, you know? People aren't like talking into a microphone in a call center. You're talking in like on a phone. You're doing this. Hello? Yeah. No, I can look that up for you. Yeah, sure. That's it. Yeah. Everything just sounds more interesting, you know? So when you're on, it takes way more effort and energy. You're putting 4 times the amount of energy into every spoken word when you're streaming, you know? So I know not everybody does that. I do it. It's something I'm just used to. I don't talk like this outside of streaming. I don't. Sort of like a normal person. But that's a good question. The answer is I am tired. I am just tired. What's your dual PC streaming solution? What is it? What do you mean, what? Like, how? Stream PC, the gaming rig, bro. Like, you want me to write you I can draw you a picture, Jorge. I can take a picture. It's hooked up to 2 monitors, main monitor and a chat monitor, right? Like a YouTube and Twitch backend and all that kind of shit. That's the gaming rig. All that does is really game. It just has games on it, you know? You guys are looking at it right now. However, on the other computer that's providing the signal for it is another computer that takes the HDMI out from the graphics card into a capture card, into a Elgato Pro Mark II. And all the consoles that are over here all go into a 4K capture card that is an AverMedia 4K capture card. That works pretty good. I have an internal capture card as well that is a 1080p one that hosts all of these cameras. Does all of these cameras. Only running at 1080p, I think, because this camera, I don't want it to overheat. But that camera, the one that goes for your video games, is actually 4K. That's actually a 4K camera because I need the extra resolution for the wide shot. And the streaming rig, the only things I run on here are Streamlabs. I have an extra 3 monitors for it. Holy crap, I have the chat window for the room. I have the monitor for you guys right here and the computer's right over there. Is the room hot? No. Because, dude, everything runs low. To produce a stream, I am right now using 14% CPU and 10% GPU. When action is happening, no CPU is actually being used and the GPU it just turns up a little bit, but never to the point where it actually needs to kick in the fans or anything like that. It's using all of the chips that are in modern GPUs to run streaming. And to be real, I don't really tax the 5090 very much, you know? You have an AC on? Yeah, there's AC up there. How is it that you have all stuff in arm reach? So, that's what it looks like. You know, there's a computer down there to the left, computer down there to the right. That's a couple of lights in the front. All this stuff on the right is what's running the stream. The stuff on the left is the gaming computer. 5 monitors, actually only 4 right here. Only 4. There's so many things that are hooked into it. There's so many consoles and stuff like that the cable management is impossible. It's literally impossible because there's just, I literally have 18 fucking consoles like hooked up to this thing, going through a myriad of other connections. So anyway, thanks, Jorge. Nanetto1, ever see yourself retiring from streaming or content creating in general? That's a good question. I've talked about it a bit before, but not like in an official capacity. Retiring, no. It's weird that I see other streamers or broadcasters just in general, and they talk about like when I get to my mid-30s, my late 30s, that they're done with streaming, they're going to be retiring, right? A lot of their business ventures happen in other places, and that's where they make their money, and their business ventures go to other places. I have never done that, man. Everything about what I do revolves around like being in front of a camera and enjoying things with each other. My answer to that is no. Like, I really don't. I see myself doing it less, as time goes on of not streaming nearly as much. But for me personally, I like this. I enjoy doing this stuff, man. So I'm not going to put like a hard date on anything, but just know I'm one of those people where if I'm like not doing anything, I lose my mind, man. I lose my mind. Every single time I'm like away from this, I'm reminded how much I actually love it when I feel like I have to get away from it, which is probably going to happen in the near future with this trip I'm taking for just 10 days. Like the older you get, the less you do. Yeah, exactly. Like as I do this more, will I be live 5 to 6 days a week from 6 to 8 hours a day? You know, will that be the overall average of how much I stream? It's crazy that I still stream more than full time, dude. It's kind of insane that my streaming hours, even after 10, 12, 13 years of actual live streaming, still eclipse what anybody's average work week is by a shit ton. So it's going to be like, I think I stream on average like anywhere between like 50 to 60 hours a week. So it's a lot, dude. It's a lot. So I just think that'll probably be less in the future and not nearly as much.